Most people know Ali Khamenei as Iran's supreme leader, the cleric at the top of the Islamic Republic. But what they don't see is the empire he's built behind the scenes. With billions of dollars hidden in shell companies, gold reserves locked in secret vaults, fleets of private jets, and a global network of real estate, Khamenei has quietly become one of the richest and most powerful men on the planet. While everyday Iranians struggle under crushing sanctions and rising poverty, Khamenei lives like royalty, insulated, untouchable, and entirely above the law. But now, the political landscape is shifting. With Donald Trump stepping back into the spotlight and calling Khamenei out by name, questions are being raised again about who really controls Iran and what he's hiding. This is not just a story about a religious figure. It's about absolute power, staggering wealth, and a system built to keep one man above the storm. Here are 8 chilling facts about Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, and the last one reveals just how far his influence reaches. Back in 2009, during a wave of mass protests, Khamenei said, "I have a poor soul, an imperfect body, and the little dignity that God has given me. I will sacrifice it all for the revolution and for Islam." It sounded like a humble vow from a devout leader. But behind the curtain was a very different reality. Mansions, money, and military force guarding a man who answers to no one. And when Iran's President Ibrahim Raisi was recently killed in a helicopter crash, all eyes turned to the future. Who would take charge? Would the country fall into chaos? But in truth, the presidency has never held the real power. It never has. That belongs to one man, Ali Khamenei. As supreme leader, he commands more than just the faith of his followers. He controls the military, the courts, the media, and the fate of anyone who stands in his way. With over 2,000 loyal operatives in every branch of government, his grip on Iran is absolute. The world sees a cleric, but what they're really looking at is a king. Ali Khamenei was born in 1939 in Mashhad, one of Iran's most sacred religious cities. His beginnings were humble. His father, a poor Shiite cleric, lived by strict Islamic values, teaching his children to embrace discipline, simplicity, and faith. The family lived in a 65-square-meter home with no living room, no amenities, and a single dark basement where they spent most of their days. But from that small, bare home would rise the man who now rules Iran. From a young age, Khamenei devoted himself to Islamic studies. He joined seminaries, memorized the Quran, and slowly stepped into the political resistance against the Shah. Arrested, exiled, and always watching from the shadows, he returned each time more committed, more strategic. When the 1979 Islamic Revolution overthrew the monarchy, Khamenei became one of the closest figures to Ayatollah Khamenei, the revolution's leader. And in 1989, after Khomeini's death, the world expected a strong, charismatic figure to take his place. Instead, they got Khamenei, soft-spoken, reserved, and underestimated by nearly everyone. But Khamenei had what mattered most: absolute loyalty to the system and a quiet talent for political survival. From that moment on, he began constructing an empire of influence through wars, sanctions, revolts, and fear. He became not just a spiritual leader, but Iran's ultimate authority, commander of the armed forces, overseer of the judiciary, head of state media, and the final word on every major decision. The supreme leader holds power for life. No election, no term limits, no accountability. Presidents may come and go, but Khamenei sits at the top, immovable, from a windowless basement in Mashhad to the throne of the Islamic Republic. And no one, so far, has been able to stop him. Ali Khamenei has vanished from public view. No more appearances at official ceremonies. No more televised speeches. No images of motorcades or carefully staged events. Iran's supreme leader has retreated into hiding, reportedly inside one of the country's most secure, undisclosed facilities. A location so classified, even its coordinates are unknown. There are no maps, no trails, no digital footprints, just silence. According to insiders in Tehran, Khamenei is now protected by a covert special operations unit, so secretive that even high-ranking officers within the Revolutionary Guard are unaware of its full capabilities. The reason? Fear. A fear that goes beyond politics or paranoia. A fear rooted in hard intelligence. Because over the past month, Israel executed a series of surgical strikes on Iranian soil. Top military officials, senior nuclear scientists, strategic data centers, all hit, fast, quiet, and precise. At least 11 generals and 14 scientists gone without a trace. and the message was unmistakable. Ayatollah Ali Khamenei could be next. This disappearance wasn't about illness or age. It was survival. And then came a new development. Donald Trump, now back in politics, issued a blunt, chilling statement. We know exactly where he's hiding. Not a threat, not a promise, but a warning. A sentence that left just enough space for fear to spread and for speculation to turn deadly. In today's world, an assassination doesn't need boots on the ground. No SWAT teams, no time bombs, just technology. Security experts warn that if the US and Israel made the decision, it would take less than 72 hours. Armed drones, AI-powered surveillance, heat signatures, behavior modeling. Khamenei doesn't use phones. He doesn't own a computer. He avoids all digital exposure, but those around him do. And that's all it takes. A single encrypted message, a light flicker from a secure room, one pattern out of place, and he could be found. He believes he's hidden, but in the age of artificial intelligence, no one truly is. For Trump, this isn't just a military tactic, it's psychological warfare. By issuing a veiled threat, he's done more than signal power. He's planted doubt, uncertainty, fear. Khamenei now lives with a question that never leaves. Will it be tomorrow? Will it be tonight? The strike may never come, but the silence between now and then is designed to crush him from within. Secret financial empire. On paper, Ali Khamenei earns the salary of a modest religious leader, estimated between $2,400 and $6,000 per month. Just enough, supposedly, to maintain the humble lifestyle of a devout cleric. But that figure doesn't even begin to explain the immense wealth he quietly controls. According to independent investigations and leaked intelligence reports, Khamenei's real income could exceed $120 million annually. The source: a web of shadow finance. His fortune flows from Iran's religious Setad Fund, a multi-billion-dollar conglomerate built on confiscated land, seized assets, state-owned companies, and a vast network of shell corporations operating across the Middle East, Europe, and Asia. The result is one of the largest secret fortunes in the region. In central Tehran, he resides in a palatial compound guarded around the clock. Inside, gold-trimmed furniture, priceless Persian carpets, an elite library of rare Islamic texts, and a private garage filled with nearly $1 million in luxury vehicles. Among them, a BMW 7 Series, a Mercedes-Benz SL, a Porsche Cayenne, and a fully armored Mitsubishi Pajero. To the public, Khamenei presents himself as a humble, pious man of God. But behind fortified gates lies a very different reality, one of excess, privilege, and contradiction. A leader who preaches simplicity while living like an oil magnate. Following Israeli intelligence strikes and Donald Trump's warning that we know where he's hiding, Khamenei was forced to re-emerge, but not in strength. This time, it was a pre-recorded video, his voice frail, his face visibly aged. No threats, no declarations, just 3 quiet words: I am alive. And behind that message, something even louder: the silence of a leader who may no longer feel invincible. Sources say back-channel talks through Qatar were quietly initiated, a rare sign that even the supreme leader may be preparing for a shift he once thought impossible. But Trump wasn't done. He took the conflict online, exposing on social media that Tehran had quietly offered to send envoys to the White House for negotiations. That revelation humiliated Khamenei, a public slap, and he felt it. Now he's making a final, calculated move: strategic surrender, agreeing, at least temporarily, to a new nuclear deal, not out of trust, but as a survival tactic. A pause, a chance to de-escalate tensions, buy time, and still appear strong to his people and the broader Muslim world. In Shia Islam, concealing truth for a greater cause, called taqiyya, is accepted. So if Iran returns to the negotiating table, don't assume they've surrendered. It may simply be a retreat into shadow, preparing for the next strike. And now, the question is no longer about politics, it's personal. Will Ali Khamenei choose to step back with dignity, or let his regime collapse in disgrace? The fate of an entire nation may rest on one man's decision, but history has a way of surfacing, even when buried in the dark. If this video opened your eyes to what happens behind closed doors, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more deep dives into power, wealth, and the secrets they don't want you to know. Thanks for watching.